The General Hospital recap for Friday, June 27th, shows that Michael Corinthos summoned Jocelyn Jacks to explain why she was not chosen as Daisy's godmother. Jocelyn understood when Michael claimed Sasha Gilmore Corbin made all the decisions and agreed to Felicia Scorpio being godmother instead. Michael also informed Jocelyn about Willow Tate's intention to marry Drew Kane, but Joss begged him not to let Willow ruin Daisy's special day. While Jocelyn and Michael were bonding, Cody Bell presented Sasha with a large stuffed animal that had arrived from Robert Scorpio and Holly Sutton. Sasha eventually admitted to Daisy's bizarre behavior. Cody eventually discounted everything by assuming there must be a sensible explanation. Carly Spencer and Jason Morgan discussed how the Quartermaines interrupted Michael's christening at church. Carly anticipated that there would be no crashers today, as it was Daisy's time. Although Carly was concerned about the hits on Sonny and the mystery that had yet to be solved, Jason assured her that Sonny Corinthos' men had it under control. Jason stressed that anyone who tried to move would be stopped. Next, Natalia Ramirez invited Brooke Lynn Quartermaine to her room, where she acknowledged that one of Sonny's investments was not pure. It wasn't Sonny's fault because his finance team made the error, but it may be an issue for deception. However, Natalia advised that if Sonny divested, this might never come to light. Brooke Lynn wondered why Natalia was admitting all of this now, so Natalia thought on all of her faults, particularly those she had committed with her children. Natalia had no prospect for fixing the damage with her children, so she hinted at looking for a new start. ADA Justine Turner arrived at Sonny's residence with an anonymously delivered box. ADA Turner imagined it was from Sonny after their softball talk, because a beautiful softball mitt was included. ADA Turner cautioned that there would be trouble if this was perceived as a bribe, but Sonny denied being the one behind it. When Christina Corinthos Davis arrived and joined the conversation, she appeared concerned by ADA Turner's presence. After ADA Turner left, Sonny comforted Christina before making a secret phone call. Sonny made a phone call and forced Natalia to reschedule her plans after Turner's visit shook him up. Jordan Ashford told Anna Devane about Portia Robinson throwing a drink at her. Portia wasn't entirely wrong about Jordan having a flame for Curtis Ashford, so Jordan accepted it and reflected on the situation. Jordan suspected Curtis might feel the same way about her, but she didn't want to interfere with his marriage and wasn't sure she could be near him right now. Anna eventually proposed that Jordan and Curtis have an honest discussion. In Curtis' office, Portia refused to let him postpone a critical conversation about their marriage. Curtis grumbled about Portia's lies, so she admitted her sins and wanted to move on. Portia was concerned that Curtis' standards were too high, and she accused him of being a hypocrite because he, too, maintained secrets when he conspired against Drew with Michael. Portia became upset and wanted to have hope for their future together, so Curtis kissed her and threw the stuff off his desk so they could hook up. Before Portia and Curtis could continue, Jordan arrived and interrupted them. Sonny, Michael, Felicia, Brooke Lynn and Harrison Chase arrived at the chapel together. Brooke Lynn drew Chase aside for a private moment because Deception was in trouble, and she didn't know how to tell Maxie Jones. Chase cut Brooke Lynn off when he discovered she was talking about Sonny's questionable investment. On Friday's GH episode, Anna confronted ADA Turner about some Sonny-related information that had inadvertently fallen on her desk. It was intended for Chase, but Anna read enough to be upset about Turner conducting an investigation through her department without her knowledge. ADA Turner stated that Anna could not be trusted when it came to Sonny. Anna stood firm and pushed ADA Turner to look into internal affairs, so Turner indicated she might. Back at the chapel, Sonny spoke with Jason alone and informed him that Turner was sniffing about, so he had Paul go take Natalia up early. Paul made his way to Natalia's suite door, which she opened to discover she would be leaving for Belize now rather than later tonight. Natalia assumed Sonny would accompany her, and was disappointed to find otherwise. Natalia closed the door after pushing for an hour to pack and lamented Sonny's abandonment of her. Natalia looked outside and saw that Paul had left, so she took out too, heading to the church. Daisy's christening was about to begin when Natalia walked in, drawing attention to herself. Sonny glared at Natalia as she sat on a pew. According to General Hospital spoilers, Natalia is poised to cause an even bigger scene, so stay tuned. Natalia had never taken betrayal lightly, especially from someone she trusted. And at Port Charles, trust was more valuable and volatile than gold. When she initially entered Sonny Corinthos' world, She realized she was treading dangerously close. She knew what he was capable of, both good and horrible. She had heard the stories. Still, nothing prepared her for the pain of abandonment. Nothing prepared Sonny for how she would respond when she realized he had ignored her without a second thought. Natalia had taken precautions at first. She didn't want to add to Sonny's long list of ladies who had been damaged by his instability. She had established a life for herself and her kid. She had overcome grief, false promises, and lonely nights. She didn't need someone like Sonny. However, he had managed to penetrate her armor. He had a knack of making people feel seen, and Natalia briefly believed he saw her, not simply as Blaze's mother or a fading flame from his past, but as a woman full of tenacity and determination. She started to let her defenses down, which was her first mistake. Their connection wasn't quite romantic. It was based on mutual understanding. Both had complicated backgrounds, children that meant everything to them, and burdens they rarely shared. But there was something else, something unsaid. A delicate intimacy developed between their chats. Then there were the small moments. His hand touching hers in passing, the way he lingered when they spoke, the gleam in his eyes when she stood up for herself or Blaze. It built slowly and silently, until Natalia realized she'd let him in more than she wanted. She persuaded herself it did not matter, that it was only a phase. But as he started backing away, she couldn't ignore the change. First, she attributed it to stress. Sonny had adversaries, legal issues, and personal drama. The usual storm that followed him wherever he went. But it was not long before she realized the truth. He was holding her at arm's length. I'm shutting her out. And he wasn't just distracted, he was finished. The final straw came when she learned from someone else, not Sonny, that he had been seen with Ava again, a woman Natalia had always considered a sore spot. Natalia didn't need to hear every detail. She knew enough. It was evident that Sonny had returned to his old habits. Ava had always been a temptation, lurking in the shadows of his existence, waiting for her opportunity. And this time it appeared he had given her one. Natalia's wrath did not erupt all at once. It simmered. She kept it hidden under a veil of cool detachment. But this simply made it more risky. Natalia was not the sort to cry and await an apology. She was the type to destroy bridges and leave ashes that couldn't be repaired. She did not shout at Sonny. She did not confront him in public or ask him to explain himself. She simply closed her door, kept him out, and began plotting her next move. Blaze saw the shift right away. Her mother had always been passionate, but she had recently developed a harsh edge that had not existed previously. Natalia was short-tempered, unpredictable, and prone to pacing the house late at night. When Blaze inquired if anything was wrong, Natalia dismissed it with a smile that did not reach her eyes. Even Blaze, who was innocent in some ways but acutely aware of her mother's mood swings, realized the reality. Something had broken, and Natalia had no desire to repair it. Natalia did not want compassion. She didn't want to be another lady in town who had her heart shattered by Sonny Corinthos and found up in the midst of his most recent scandal. She sought justice. She sought authority. Most importantly, she wanted to remind Sonny that he could not walk away without consequences. So she began making phone calls. Quietly. Carefully. She spoke with people she hadn't talked to in years. She did favors. I dug into old files. She had always been linked, as a former manager and publicist who knew people in both the music industry and the shadows around it. And she'd always avoided that aspect of herself, but she welcomed it back. She had something to prove. Natalia had kept records, but Sonny was unaware of this. Not of him, but of talks, transactions, and meetings with individuals in his circle, people who could be convinced to speak if the appropriate buttons were pressed. She had never used the information before because she didn't think she would need it. But now she was thinking about how far she was willing to go. The answer turned out to be pretty far. She wasn't out to destroy Sonny, not precisely, but she wanted to shake him. She wanted him to feel what she felt, the deep anguish of being discarded as a mistake. So she released information. At first, there were rumors to the press about shady dealings at the warehouse, as well as quiet suspicions that Sonny's alliances were fraying. Enough to stir the pot but not to boil it. She watched him from afar. Watched as he became more suspicious, appointments were cancelled, and his men began to stare over their shoulders. Ava attempted to approach closer again, but even she was unable to calm him down. Sonny had always been able to detect threats, but Natalia's strike came from an unexpected source. He never imagined she would be the one to strike. His underestimation was her most effective weapon. Meanwhile, Natalia maintained a clean public image. She attended Blaze's gigs, smiled for the camera, and gave interviews about supporting women in the industry. She portrayed the role of the composed mother, the powerful advocate, and the embodiment of grace. Nobody suspected that behind the scenes, she was planning something significantly more complex. She had others digging and observing, waiting for the right moment to apply pressure. One of those persons returned with a gem, a shipment set to arrive at the ports, which was linked to one of Sonny's offshore fronts. On paper, everything appeared legitimate, but Natalia knew someone who could show otherwise. A man who had been burned by Sonny years before and had nothing to lose. She was debating what to do with the knowledge. She was unsure whether she wanted to hand it up to the feds, but the temptation remained. Then followed the text from Sonny. It was brief and cryptic. "We need to talk. Please." Natalia looked at it for a long time. The word please irritated her more than anything. Sonny never pleaded. If he was reaching out now, he was either aware of what she was doing or trying to halt it before it worsened. She did not respond. The next morning he appeared outside her condominium. She did not let him in. "Just give me 5 minutes," he said through the door. She opened it halfway and blocked the entrance. "Say what you came to say." He appeared worn out. Not physically. Sonny always exuded strength, but emotionally, there was something shattered in his gaze. "I made a mistake," he said. "I should have been honest. About Ava. Almost anything." Natalia laughed bitterly and quietly. "Do you think this is about Ava?" she asked. "This is about respect. Or the lack thereof." Sonny sighed. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "But you did," she retorted. "And worse, you didn't expect me to fight back. You expected me to simply leave, return to being Blaze's mother, and nod graciously whenever I saw you in passing. That's who you assumed I was." He did not refute it. "I don't want a war," he finally said. Natalia moved closer. "Then maybe you shouldn't have started one." She closed the door. Natalia did not hesitate again after that. She tried diplomacy. She tried silence. She has now embraced strategy. She began working with legal advisors, anonymously reporting potential financial problems in Corinthos Coffee's international shipments. She kept her name out of it, but the pattern became clear. Someone was targeting Sonny's firm from within. Jocelyn, overhearing rumors about what was going on, started asking inquiries. She had her own reasons for resenting Sonny, but this felt different. She approached Blaze, trying to determine whether Natalia was involved in anything harmful. Blaze was unaware of the circumstances, but she vehemently defended her mother. "Whatever she's doing," she continued, "I promise you it's not without reason." Jocelyn understood what that meant, and she did not disagree. Carly, on the other hand, began to suspect more. She approached Natalia after a charity event, drawing her aside in the hallway. "I know you're angry," Carly remarked. "I have been there. But you're playing a dangerous game." Natalia did not blink. "So is Sonny. Always has been. He is still the father of your daughter's mentor. This may come back to Blaze." Natalia's voice sank. "Then maybe he should have thought about that before he discarded us both like we didn't matter." The stillness that followed spoke it all. Natalia wasn't lying. She wasn't acting out just to be dramatic. She was planned, ready, and dangerously calm. She'd learned long ago that rage burns swiftly. But what about chilly fury? That might endure indefinitely. Natalia stood unconcerned while Sonny's world trembled. She had nothing more to lose. When someone has nothing to lose, they become the most powerful individual in the room. But power has a cost. And as the walls closed in around Sonny, Natalia began to feel the weight of her actions. Not regret. Not yet. But something like gravity, the knowledge that once you start pulling threads in a universe like his, it's just a matter of time before one snaps and brings everything crashing down. Nonetheless, she did not stop. Because Natalia had a message for Sonny that was louder than words and more permanent than pain. "You do not abandon me. What if you do? I'll make sure you remember it. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, June 30th. Hint that Sonny Corinthos will not tolerate the christening crasher who simply plopped herself in a seat at Daisy's christening. Sonny will make sure Natalia Ramirez is hauled out, so Brooklyn Quartermain will finally approach her and be concerned about the situation spiraling out of control. Natalia turned against Sonny when she realized he wasn't accompanying her to Belize. Natalia is enraged and ready to strike back since she believes she has no new life to look forward to. Outside the church, as Paul prepares to haul Natalia away, she will make an unsettling remark to Sonny. "May you get every blessing you deserve," Natalia says fiercely in Monday's GH teaser video. Daisy's christening will ultimately resume, so she can enjoy a great celebration with her loved ones. However, this will be the quiet before the storm, as a fire is set to erupt in Charlie's pub. Someone will break a window and set fire to the building, endangering Christina Corinthos Davis. Christina may be trapped in the building when the fire breaks out, which means Sonny is in for some bad news. Lucas Jones will concede that Marco Rios' mother has been attempting to contact him, and he will suggest that this may be Marco's only chance to reach out. Lucas will encourage Marco to make peace with Natalia if it is still feasible. Brooke Lynn and Harrison Chase will also strike a deal in Monday's episode. Whatever happens with Ada Justine Turner and her Sonny takedown aim, Chase and Brooke Lynn may decide not to let it influence their marriage. Anna Devane and Ada Turner will also face more conflict as their Sonny-related showdown continues, so expect some difficult moments. Speaking of stressful moments, Jordan Ashford's attempt at a passionate meeting with Portia Robinson has been cut short, so Curtis Ashford's office will be full of them. Portia will be upset about this interruption, and will believe Curtis is refusing to see the reality. "You may not see what's going on here, but I certainly do," Portia argues in Monday's preview clip. It appears like Portia will accuse Jordan of attempting to sabotage her marriage, so that she may have Curtis all to herself. According to General Hospital teasers, Portia will strike out and beg Curtis to open his eyes, so stay tuned for updates on his response. The fire started as a flicker, which no one noticed at first. It danced silently in a corner behind the bar at Charlie's pub, concealed by the soft lighting and the bustle of the crowd that had assembled for a very important event. The pub was decked from wall to wall in soft whites and blues, with floral centerpieces on each table and gentle jazz playing softly beneath the sound of clinking drinks and happy chatter. Sonny Corinthos had gone all out for Avery's christening after-party. Everyone who mattered to him was present, including family, friends, and some of Port Charles's more wary allies. There was laughing, love, and a feeling of solidarity. For once it appeared that nothing could go wrong. But, of course, something always happened. Charlie's pub had become a symbol in recent years, representing warmth, community, and healing. Since Christina took over, it has had a familial feel to it, the kind of place where even adversaries may sit at opposite ends of the bar and observe a quiet ceasefire. That day was full with affection. Ava smiled as she doted on Avery, Michael stood by Willow and Wiley, Brooke Lynn bounced baby Amelia, and Chase mocked her for being the overprotective godmother. The tone was light, and the tension was low, rare, and fragile. Sonny stood in the heart of it all, calm and proud, observing his family assembled like way. He rarely allowed himself to feel peaceful, but today he made an exception. Nothing was going to come in the way of his daughter's special day, until Natalia stepped in. The room did not immediately notice her. She entered wearing sleek black and dark sunglasses, her hair in a harsh twist that did little to soften her keen features. She did not belong. Everyone felt it. The visitors turned one by one, interrupting their talks and blinking in astonishment. Some whispered. Others stiffened. Ava's face became pallid. Sonny noticed her immediately. His entire body tightened, teeth locked and fists clenched at his sides. Natalia. The woman who dragged Christina into a battle she had not asked for. The woman who had attempted to portray Sonny's daughter as unstable, immoral, and dangerous. She was not only undesired, she was a clear menace. Natalia noticed Sonny, her expression unreadable. She produced a stiff smile, as if the christening reception were just another social gathering she was entitled to attend. As if she hadn't spent the last few months causing havoc in his family's life. Sonny came closer without hesitation, his gaze riveted on hers. He did not raise his voice. He did not need to. Everyone in the room sensed a shift in energy as he moved across the floor, taking each step deliberately. Ava moved automatically towards Avery, bringing her close and murmuring something into her ear. Christina stared in shock, the champagne flute in her hand wobbling slightly. "You're not supposed to be here," Sonny stated when he approached her. His voice was low and powerful, with a sense of danger that would have stopped anyone in their tracks. But Natalia did not flinch. "I came to pay my respects," she explained simply. "To a child. Isn't it a precious day?" Sonny narrowed his gaze. "Do you think you can just stroll in here after what you've done? You think you can show up to my daughter's christening and behave as if it meant something?" Natalia slowly removed her sunglasses, locking eyes with him. "I'm not here for you." "No," Sonny hissed. "You're here for attention." The room was utterly silent now. Everyone watched from a distance, unsure whether to intervene or brace for violence. Dante stood a few feet away, hand twitching at his side as he pondered how quickly this could develop. Nina appeared terrified, unsure where to stand or who to defend. Christina appeared enraged and injured, as if a storm was boiling just beneath the surface. Natalia's voice was calm and slightly patronizing. "I really wanted to see her. One gaze, and then I will be gone." "No," Sonny said, his voice as cutting as a sword. "You will depart now. You do not get to stand here as if you are a part of this. As if you were invited. You are not." Natalia scanned the room, her lips twitching into a faint sardonic smile. "Is this truly necessary?" Sonny moved closer, his voice falling even more. "You come to my family's celebration knowing what you've said and done, and you want grace? You're lucky I haven't dragged you out of here yet." Natalia's eyes hardened. She glanced past him briefly, catching Christina's eye. Christina looked away immediately, not out of fear, but because she was disgusted. Natalia turned back to Sonny. "You cannot protect her from everything. You may believe you are treating her well, but she remains your vulnerability." That was the final straw. Before she could say anything else, Sonny motioned firmly to the nearest security guard, who immediately came forward. "Escort her out," Sonny stated. "Make sure she understands this isn't a place she's ever welcome again." Natalia did not resist. She kept her chin up as the guard led her to the door, pausing once to look back. No one met her gaze. She went with the quiet wrath of someone who thought they had the final say, even if no one else did. After she left, the room breathed again. But the mood had changed. Christina shook her head, hoping to regain her composure. Dante muttered something to Brooklyn, then quietly checked on his father. Willow softly patted Michael's arm, bringing him back into the moment. Then came the fire. Started little, unseen but quickly. The bartender, an elderly man new to Charlie's, smelt something peculiar. By the time he reached the bar, flames had climbed up the back of a cabinet. A broken electrical line flared against old insulation, and with the space full of balloons and fragile decor, smoke quickly filled the air. People did not panic immediately. It was smoke at first, light enough to be mistaken for kitchen steam. But then someone yelled and chaos broke out. Shouts, chairs scraping, glass breaks. Sonny swung around, his reflexes honed over decades of surviving the unimaginable. He took Avery from Ava and called for Dante. "Take her out," he commanded. Ava did not question it. She and Dante vanished out the side door, Avery bundled in their arms. Christina went into full crisis mode and ushered everyone to the front. Nina tried to assist, but the smoke was becoming thicker and visibility was rapidly deteriorating. Dante returned for his mother. Chase pulled Amelia from Brooklyn and dashed toward the exit. But Sonny did not move. He inspected the room to ensure that all guests were present. The flames spread behind the bar, climbing the walls and licking at the ceiling. He could hear the crackle and felt the temperature rising. "Go!" Christina yelled at him, coughing. "I won't leave until everyone's gone." Sonny called back. Flames broke through the ceiling tiles in a corner. Panic intensified. Christina was attempting to direct an elderly couple out the back exit when a portion of the ceiling collapsed only inches from her. Sonny lunged, grabbed her arm and pulling her back. The floor below them moaned. "Go!" he exclaimed. "Do not argue with me." Christina, scarcely breathing, finally nodded and stumbled out, the couple following. The front of Charlie's was already consumed when the fire crew arrived. Firefighters rushed the street. Sonny stood out front, soot covering his face, shirt sleeves singed, eyes red but attentive. His hands trembled as he watched the building burn. Charlie's was gone. A lifetime of memories. He had spent all of his nights at that tavern with his daughter. Every time his family had gathered. Gone in a couple of minutes. The fire chief approached. Everyone has been accounted for. No casualties. Sonny gave a stiff nod, thankful but hollow. The relief couldn't compare to the devastation in his chest. Later that night, when Avery was asleep at Carly's and the majority of the guests had left, Sonny stood alone on the sidewalk in front of the blazing ruin. Firefighters packed up. The yellow tape blew in the breeze. The party decorations had melted to ash. Christina approached him, arms crossed, jaw taut. She came here on purpose, she admitted gently. To ruin today. I know. Do you think she started the fire? Sonny was silent for a long time. If she didn't, she still lit a match the moment she walked through that door. Christina nodded and squeezed her lips together. I'm not scared of her. I didn't think you were. Christina glanced up at her father. But I'm done allowing her to dominate the narrative. I do not care if she is Natalia Rogers, Natalia the pop star, or Natalia the victim. I'm finished playing her game. Sonny wrapped his arm around her shoulder and pulled her close. She is not going to come near you again. I'll make certain of that. They remained there for a long father and daughter, in the light of blazing rubble. Charlie's was gone. But the family, shattered, healing, and ferocious, survived. And Natalia had made her final unwelcome entrance. Whether she realized it or not, she had crossed a line that Sonny would never forgive. She had turned a sacred occasion into a spectacle, endangered lives, and attempted to destroy Christina in the cruelest way possible. According to General Hospital teasers, Lulu Spencer's blossoming relationship with Giovanni Gio Palmieri is causing problems this week, sparking speculation that her influence could jeopardize Brooke Lynn Quartermain's plans to start a family with her recently discovered son. Following the May 2025 Nurses Ball bombshell identifying Gio as the kid Brooke Lynn had with Dante Falconeri years ago, and then gave up for adoption, Lulu's loving, quasi-stepmotherly attachment with Gio is on the verge of inciting Brooke Lynn's rage. With Dante already furious with Lulu's earlier deceit, will her tight relationship with Gio jeopardize Brooke Lynn's fragile family dynamic? Or is there room for compromise? General Hospital spoilers, Lulu's bond with Gio sparks tension. Lulu's efforts to connect with Gio and offer support as he navigates his adoption shock are genuine. Given her role as Dante's ex-wife and Rocco Falconeri's mother, their time together appears to be warming Joe's heart slightly, but Brooke Lynn is sure to see red, believing Lulu is overstepping her duty as Joe's mother. Dante's lingering rage over Lulu's delay in revealing Joe's origins will undoubtedly stoke that fire, and her bonding with Gio may push Brooke Lynn, who is already scheming her revenge, over the line. Will Lulu's objectives exacerbate the schism, or can she demonstrate she is not a threat? GH spoilers suggest that Brooke Lynn's fury threatens her family. Brooke Lynn, still hurting from Lois Cerullo's deception about Gio and concerned that she will never be able to create a relationship with her son, is passionately protective of her new role as his mother, but Lulu's presence may feel intrusive. Her rage, fueled by Harrison Chase's difficult relationship with Dante, may prompt her to lash out, accusing Lulu of attempting to take Joe's devotion. If Brooke Lynn's obsession with this conflict overshadows her relationship with Gio, she risks alienating him. Can she reconcile her maternal feelings with her resentment? Or will Lulu's involvement further strain her family? General Hospital spoilers. Tug of war or path to peace? Lulu's relationship with Gio could either undermine Brooke Lynn's plans or open the path for a blended family. If Dante, backed by Olivia Falconeri, advocates for unity, Brooke Lynn may soften, but her rage may flare if Lulu's influence develops, especially since Lulu is already a far more laid-back role model who more closely resembles how Gio was raised than Brooke Lynn's trust-fund childhood. Will Lulu's bond with Gio lead to a long-term feud with Brooke Lynn, or will they be able to cohabit for Joe's sake? And will Dante want his ex anywhere near his second son? Keep checking back with us every day for the latest GH news and spoilers. Gio was still new to Port Charles, at least in terms of his integration into the town's tight-knit network of families, rivalries,